Guys, it's Miss Simpson and it is time for grammar today. And we are going to talk about adding and removing sentences. And that's something that we haven't talked about in quite some time. So let's take a look at some task cards. When we're adding and removing sentences, this is something you see all the time on your STAR test. So for example, when you're taking away sentences or you're adding them, you have to make sure that they fit within the paragraph. So if it doesn't fit or it doesn't go with the central idea or it sounds funny, then you might want to add something or remove that specific sentence. We do this all the time in our writing too. We might read through a paragraph and go, ooh, that sentence doesn't sound good. I'm just going to take it out. Or, ooh, I forgot to add this. So we add a sentence into our writing. That's what it's asking us to do on these kind of questions. So let's take a look at a few task cards. I'm going to show you how to attack these questions, and then I'm going to let you practice on your own. And we're going to work on these for a couple of days. So when we're doing writing only, when you're doing reading, this is a different story, but this is writing. You do not have to read the whole paragraph yet. You only have to read the question. And then after you read the question, you can go back in and read the paragraph. So, question first. What sentence does not support the topic and should be removed from the paragraph? So that's a fancy way of asking you which one doesn't sound good, which one doesn't go with that paragraph. So sentence 2, 3, or 5. So I'm going to circle 2, I'm going to circle 3, and I'm going to circle 5. So that when I'm reading through my paragraph, I know that I'm trying to focus on which one doesn't go. So let's go ahead and read our paragraph. I'm a great math student. However, I used to get frustrated when it was time to take a test. In my opinion, math is much more difficult than science. I talked to my teacher and she gave me some ideas to fight the frustration. I would feel like crying when I came across a difficult problem. Before long, I was fearlessly solving every math problem on all of my tests. So, what I notice about this is it's talking all about math and how this person has a lot of frustration with math. So does this sentence, however, I used to get frustrated when it was time to take a test, talk about being frustrated with math? Yeah, sure. In my opinion, math is much more difficult than science. Is this paragraph even talking about science? Doesn't mention science once except for that one sentence. Let's check out 5 and then we'll see. I would feel like crying when I came across a difficult problem. This talks about them being frustrated with math and that difficult problem. So still frustration with math. Out of the 3, which one doesn't fit? I think this one. We don't really care about science. We just care about math because that's what this paragraph is about. Okay, let's move on to this one. Remember, we are not going to read the paragraph yet. It looks like it's the same, but we want to read the question. I want to add this detail. For example, I could skip the ones I'm having trouble with and return to them later. Where would this detail best fit within the paragraph? So, before sentence 1, before sentence 6, after sentence 6. Okay, so here's what I do. I go and add this sentence in exactly where it tells me, and I read it in that spot every single time. So it's saying before sentence 1. So should I say it at the beginning? For example, I could skip the ones I'm having trouble with and return to them later. I'm a great math student. Does that make any sense to put that there? Is that a good way to start a paragraph? No. That's a horrible way to start a paragraph, giving you an example of something before you even have a topic sentence. What? We don't do that. Let's see, before sentence 6. I would feel like crying when I came across a difficult problem. For example, I could skip the ones I'm having trouble with and return to them later. Oh, okay. So it's saying that he could skip those difficult problems and return to them later. That sounds pretty good. Let's see about after sentence 6. Before long, I was fearlessly solving every math problem on all of my tests. For example, I could skip the ones I'm having trouble with and return to them later. Is that a good place to put that? No. After sentence 6 sounds weird. That's not a good way to end the paragraph. And I missed one right here after sentence 4. So let's try that one. I talked to my teacher and she gave me some ideas to fight the frustration. For example, I could skip the ones I'm having trouble with and return to them later. Oh, So when I say, for example, I know that it's giving me example of something in the paragraph. So ideas to fight the frustration. Is this an example of ideas to fight the frustration? Yeah, it is, isn't it? So I think that it would best go there. Let's do another one. Same paragraph, but they want to add another detail. I always make straight A grades on my homework. Where would this detail best fit within the paragraph? Okay, so after sentence 1, before sentence 3, after sentence 5, or before sentence 4. Okay, I always make straight A grades on my homework. Let's read it after sentence 1. I'm a great math student. I always make straight A grades on my homework. However, I used to get frustrated when it was time to take a test. Ooh, I like that. It is telling me I always make it's giving me an example of how they're a great math student. Let's try B, after sentence 3. In my opinion, math is much more difficult than science. I always make straight A grades on my homework. I talk to my teacher. That's weird. Why would you put that right there? That's not a good place to, this is a way that they're a good student. So I don't think that's a great place to put it. Let's read after sentence 5. I would feel like crying when I came across a difficult problem. I always make straight A grades on my homework. What? Why would you put that there? They're talking about crying. Let's try D, before sentence 4. In my opinion, math is much more difficult than science. I always make In my opinion, math is much more difficult than science. I always make straight A grades on my homework. I talked to my teacher and she gave me some. Nope, that does not sound good. Okay. I think the best place to put it is after sentence 1. It's an example of how they're a great student. It goes right along with that detail, and I like the way that it sounds the best. All right, I want you to do this one by yourself. It's asking you a little bit different question. I'm going to read the question to you, and then we'll see if you get the right answer. Where should sentence 5 be moved to improve the flow of the paragraph? So if you remember cops and arms, you have arms. So when you're revising, you can add, remove, move, or substitute. So this person is choosing to move sentence 5 somewhere. So I want you to see where sentence 5 would best be moved to, and then we'll check your answer. Okay, so before sentence 1. So sentence 5 said, I would feel like crying when I came across a difficult problem. I am a great math student. We don't want to start off with them crying. We don't want to start the paragraph off like that. Let's try after sentence 2. So sentence 5, I'm going to read after sentence 2 now to see how it sounds. However, I used to get frustrated when it was time to take a test. I would feel like crying when I came across a difficult problem. That's not too bad. Let's try after sentence 6. Before long, I was fearlessly solving every math problem on all of my tests. I would feel like crying when I came across a difficult problem. Well, I don't think it should go there. I think sentence 6 is such a strong conclusion sentence that it would sound weird if we talk about crying at the very end when we've already solved this problem. Let's try after sentence 1. I'm a great math student. I would feel like crying when I came across a difficult problem. That doesn't match at all. It's talking about him being a great math student. Why would we want to introduce him crying already? No. So after sentence 2 is the best option. All right, guys, so for your assignment today, you have a few task cards that you are going to complete where you're adding, moving, removing, substituting sentences and words to try and figure out the best way to revise that paragraph. Just like this one, every single paragraph per that page is exactly the same. You're just, adding, removing, moving, and substituting. Please, please, please try your very best and really think these through. Sometimes just by thinking, you can figure out the answer. And sometimes just by reading it out loud to yourself, you can figure out the answer. All right, I love you all so much. Just answer those. I think there's about 8 problems right down below and have a fantastic day. Bye.